This episode is sponsored by Proverbs 31 Business Systems. Are you tired of feeling like your business depends on you for everything? If your business slows down every time you step away, you may be the bottleneck. At Proverbs 31 Business Systems, we help faith-driven, service-based entrepreneurs build systems, workflows, and automation that allow their businesses to run without burnout. Take the 5-minute bottleneck test to discover what's really slowing your business down and what to fix first. Simply scan the QR code shown on the screen or visit proverbs31businesssystems.com. Now let's get into today's episode.
Virtuous woman, she's worth more than gold. She doesn't.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Becoming the Proverbs 31 podcast. My name is John McKinday, also known as Special Agent Chi, your host. And on today's show, we have Denesha Davenport. She is a visual communicator and creative AI strategist with more than 20 years in graphic design and creative direction. She is the founder of Creative Lab, creator of the WARP method, the WARP method, and the #1 Amazon bestseller of I Am the Prompt. She directs brands so they look like what they're worth. AI is her newest medium, but her message is clear. The tool is not the difference, direction is. Welcome to the show, Denesha. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being on. And folks, I have to thank this lady. If you've followed and seen the start of my podcast, my thumbnails were horrible. They were just boring. Meeting with this lady has just transformed me, just in general, not even just for my podcast, like my branding, like truly from her intro. But I'm saying, like, she brings your brand to me. You can see changing my background and just changing everything, even from my website to everything. I met with this lady, and this lady just transformed. Even people are talking about it and noticing, something makes a difference. So she is responsible, honestly, for just the transformation from my podcast. So thank you so much, Denesha.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So, Denesha, how would you describe what you do in just one sentence?
So if I was to describe what I do, I like to say I'm a visual communicator.
Yes, you are. Visually. So for those meeting you for the first time, can you just share like what led you to, into creative direction and design and AI strategy?
So it started before the AI. I've always been like a creative person. In my book, I Am the Prompt, really like I dive into some of that of just like how I got to where I am currently, right? But I've always been one of the little girls that would watch HGTV, and then I would go try to like do what the thing was that I saw. I've always been like a drawer, a person that kind of like do characters and all kind of stuff. And so creativity has always stuck with me prior to the AI. And so just things that I went through with life. I had light bulb moments, right? From where I worked, getting into like Adobe software for graphic design, so on and so forth. And so creativity has always been there. And I'm gonna keep saying before the AI, right? So for me, because I'm an over-the-top person, and I always say any medium, whether it's balloons, florals, camera, right, videography, paint, I always say, give me the medium and I'm gonna creatively make magic with it. So AI just happened to be the thing that allowed me all those creative ideas that I had in my head. It allowed me to do them bigger, faster, and better. So if I was to sum it up, it's like I've always been a creative. It's just AI just helped me do those things faster and better.
It's like it just magnified it. Like just
yes,
you can see it in your work is you like in terms of just the ideas in your head of just putting it out there, like how it now shows up on AI is just I haven't seen anything like it in terms of
thank
just
you.
So you say you take an idea, give it direction, so the audience says yes before the sale is ever made. What does that mean?
So direction starts with you being clear before you even go to what I like to call broadcast anything, whether it's a product, a service, an event, whatever it is. It starts prior to that and getting clear on what that looks like for you and your target client, right? And a lot of people go, especially with AI, they go straight to the tool and they just start making something, but they haven't locked in like what is my brand, what is my core values, like what is my slogan, what is my ultimate goal or mission with this brand or business, right? So results are all over the place. And so if you're not clear before you start, naturally your audience can't be clear, right? And I think that's what a lot of people miss, even before the visuals. But if I can get clear, like for example, and I know my target audience is a mother in her 30s. She's from California, right? Using myself as an example. She's a city girl. She's not like all into labels. She's very family oriented. Whatever those really deep, details are, painting that picture first. So we know where she shops, what she likes, what her circles look like. When we understand that kind of stuff, it's so much easier to brand our business around that and speak directly to her or to him, right? And so that's what I tell my clients. That's what I tell my members and my community. Figure out what that client avatar is for you, your brand and business, so that as you're creating, you always continue to replicate that. And that's how you consistently show up and get clear and you become the obvious choice before asking for the sale.
That's good. That's good. So, your message is everybody has the same tool now, but that is why everything looks the same. What are you seeing in the marketplace? Everybody, I feel like is like you stand out a lot. So what is that thing in terms of like, they're using the same tool now, but it's like everybody now is just all the same.
Yeah. So now more than ever, like diving into your brand and what that means is important. Whereas before we could do some quick flyers or hire this graphic designer to throw something together and it'd be okay. Well, everybody's doing that, but just with AI, right? And so we got to get creative with what that looks like for us, so we stand out. And I think that's what people are missing is that part of it. Also, it doesn't matter what LLM I'm using. If I'm strategizing or creating something visually, I never go with the first output, never. And I never sit down at the AI tool and tell it to just do something or strategize for me. I always hold that position. And I think people are missing that. And so they'll go, just for example, they'll go to Chat or Claude or wherever, and they'll say, I want to make a flyer. I want to do this. And can you help me create it? But then they give no direction about what the goal is, what the result is. I always say lead with the result, right? They give none of that. Who the audience is, where they're from, what the ultimate goal is for this entire event or service or business, and what the result looks like in a year, 3 years, 5 years. They give none of that direction. And then AI just generically comes up with whatever it decides. And it may sound pretty and look good, but it's not on target for who you are and what you represent.
Well, that's true. And I've been going through, I think on one of your talks that you did, you go through detail of
Yeah.
prompting, how to prompt that thing. You go in detail like 16 by 9, in terms of the vision, like this is for
Mhm.
Instagram. Is it a thumbnail? Is it 16 by 9 for your YouTube thing? You go
Mhm.
into detail of just making this like, and it's amazing watching you. You just speaking to it of just make it like you give that detail that you're like
Mhm.
directing it of just what to do for you. So
Yeah.
you're definitely right in terms of just not just telling it what to do, but just giving it that direction of the detail of what to
Yeah.
do. So your keynote is called Stop Prompting, Start Directing. What inspired that message?
Yeah. So it's a few things that inspired that. But the sameness, the sea of sameness, right? Being an AI, being an AI certified AI consultant and authority lead, all the things, right? And really being in the AI community, it's even easier to be able to see really quickly, not even just from a visual, how people talk, oh, AI did that, right? And I don't think people realize how damaging that is for their brand and business, right? Um, which is what ultimately, inspired the whole stop prompting, start directing. I also at the time saw a lot of people making prompt packs, and they're like, this 100 book prompt pack. Everybody was selling prompt packs. And people were asking me, what's the prompt? What's the prompt? Right. And so I used to laugh, or they would ask me what tool I used. So I would laugh because I always say, like, it doesn't matter what the prompt is. It doesn't matter what the tool is. It's all about how you direct the tool and how specific you are with the tool. And then also understanding what that tool's strength is, right? Because everybody should have a tool stack. I say 3 to 5 tools that work where you focus on those 3 or 4 and do those 3 or 4 really well and understand what their strengths or weaknesses are. And for me, that's the secret sauce. Um, I like to use food as an analogy. So I've done this like when I'm speaking to, and I always tell people because it lands, right? I say, like, if you go to a 5-star restaurant, you don't just sit down and just tell the waiter, just give me something off the menu, especially at a 5-star restaurant, right?
That's
Like
true.
the aesthetic is right. You
Mhm.
want to see the menu, you want to see like what the specials are, what's seasonally happening, so on and so forth, right? And so I tell people, like, you should be using your AI tool the same exact way, right? When you sit down at it, you should understand what the full menu is. You should understand what the secret menu looks like. You should know what the strengths of that thing is so that as I order that meal, I can be very specific and get something nicely curated that's 5-star quality. So I always say you order your visuals or prompt your visuals like you would at a 5-star restaurant, being very specific with what the output is.
Yeah, no, you do have to be, and also using the, should I say, I think what you mentioned with the tool, because I call it AI is always coming up with a brand new tool every
Yeah.
time. Shiny is like, okay, I want to use this one. Master, and that's what I always say. I like
Mm-hmm.
that thing is master the one tool that you know, and just stick to that tool. And the more you master, the more it, I feel like it gets to even know you much better. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so what is, I think you kind of talked about it like in terms of the difference of prompting and directing. So you kind of mentioned that. So how can business owners start thinking like creative directors instead of just a content creator?
So you're saying how could they think as a creative director instead of a
Yeah,
content?
instead of
Yeah.
just a content creator, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good question. I think it starts with you. It starts with you and thinking outside the box, right? Creative directors gain inspiration from the smallest thing and challenge yourself. So normally, I always say, normally the first idea probably isn't the best idea, especially in AI, right? Um, and so my warp method is a great example of that. It is like the first thing I teach in my AWIC curriculum in my school community because people come in and they can't, they're like in this box of whatever their expertise is, and they don't think outside of how I can visually communicate that creatively. So my warp method challenges you to do that. So what that means in like just surface level is it's the what if taking something that's ordinary and putting something that doesn't make sense to the environment into that ordinary environment. So
Mm.
what lands really well for that is like animals, right? I use this as an example in there. So putting an animal, dressing it as a human, having it do and interact some way in a realistic environment that doesn't make sense to it is creatively different. So I found that with challenging members to do that, it stretches their creativity and they naturally start to think outside of the box. So now something as simple as this pen and me sitting at my desk, and maybe I'm a coach or a consultant, I can now take this pen with AI, turn it into a whole world and make it move and stop the scroll and do something creatively that grabs the audience's attention. But before I wouldn't think that way. So I think the difference between a creative director and a content creator is thinking outside the box and taking the most outlandish, over the top things that make absolutely no sense and tailoring it back to your business is where that direction versus just content creation comes into play.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
Yeah,
And that's attention grabbing because it's like, oh, that's not
absolutely.
normal to, do that. That grabs, that's a good one. That grabs the attention. So you
Yeah,
said that's your warp method that you created is in terms of that. So did you say like
absolutely.
what does it stand for? What does the warp
Yeah. So the warp method, and that's in my book too. So the W is what if, right? The A is adding tension to the thing. R is rich details. So like sweat, right? A liquid, whatever, right? And then P is perspective. P is the perspective punch, is what I like to call. So that's what is the camera doing? So a straight face on shot is expected, But if I change it to a God's eye where the camera's over the top of me or extreme low, it mentally does something to the viewer, whether it's authority, makes you feel safe. The camera perspective is what brings it all together. So that's what the warp means.
Well, you need to join her community. She's even teaching me right now. But so what is the one part of the creative process that most business owners skip? I think you kind of talked about this, a little bit. It's just, moving outside of the box. So I'll just move on to like so your book, I'm just gonna move on to the book. So your book,
Mhm.
I Am the Prompt, How Creatives Reclaim Their Power in the Age of AI. What do you want readers to understand from this title or from the book?
So I went back and forth with "You Are the Prompt" as the title and "I Am the Prompt" as the title. And the title really sums up the book. It's now I'm talking about myself in the book, right? And like who I am and how I creatively got to where I am. And then I give you my warp method in there. However, I wanted the book title to be something that was almost like the thing, how people post up taglines or sayings on a mirror, and it's like the thing that they re-say every day to kind of like give themselves that courage. I wanted the title to feel that. So that's why I said I changed it to I Am the Prompt. So if you're reading it, it's like I am the prompt.
Mm.
And the reason I did that, because at that time it was heavily prompt packs everywhere. Everybody was talking about prompt packs, and I knew that that wasn't it, right? Because you're just taking what someone else creatively came up with and just making it your own with your own picture, but it's the same thing. There's no creativity in that for me. So even in my school community, I don't teach prompts, right? I'll give you prompts, but I give you prompts to creatively tailor an idea around your brand or business. I don't give you prompts to just copy me, right? So everybody has their own unique look and niche. And so for me, I am the prompt is exactly what it says. I am the prompt. You are the prompt. It starts with you and your vision and your mission and the story that shaped you into who you are in today. And I think more people need to hone in on that, especially when you're branding yourself, because that's ultimately going to bring you your audience, your community, your people that are going to stick with you. Is uniquely being you, especially in the age of AI.
Yes, yes, yes. So, can you tell us a little bit more about the Directors HQ and the done for you creative direction work that you provide?
Yeah. So Directors HQ is actually like my done for you services. It's something that I launched so I started the Creative Labs earlier this year. The end of January is when I launched it. And after about a month and a half of my 8-week curriculum, I saw some people that would private message me like, what if can you just do all this for me? Because like I have ideas, but I'm not patient. I really don't have time to be trying to direct the AI and give it all these details. I just want to have it done. And so people kept asking for that. And I'm like, you know what? Let me offer some done for you services for those that may have the concept, but just want to be able to give it and have someone creatively execute it to the level that they're looking. And so that was me wrapping that up. And then with me already being a graphic designer first, I was already doing, that for some clients here and there. It was like, you know what? Let me wrap up these AI services and offer some done for you. So it was really me just paying attention to what my audience's needs were, um, and making sure that next step was clear as far as done for you, done with you. Um, let me show you how I do it. So it's like 3 different tiers. Let me
Mm.
show you how I do it, learn with me, right? Do it with me, and then done for you services. It's kind of how I have my 3 tiers set up.
Nice, nice, nice. So this is the Becoming the Proverbs 31 podcast, and I always ask all my guests, what is the one quality of the Proverbs 31 that you most identify with and why?
Ooh, so for me, it's a blend. So I'm gonna say for sure wisdom, but I'm gonna also say courage. So one thing that a lot of people don't know about me, and I talk about this in my book a little bit too. So, unfortunately, I'm a widow, right? And so I lost my husband, October 2024, and then I had our son December 2024. So 2024 was like it was a year, like it was like highs, and then like lows. But um, wisdom. I'm gonna say wisdom and courage. The way my husband poured into me before that just abruptly happened, there's things that stick with me, right? Still to this day. And it's so many things we built together so quickly, like my event space. I have an event space. We went into remodel that February of 2024, and then we launched it the middle of April 2024. So he was a creative too, super smart. Wisdom was just like, how do you know all these different things? And he poured into me, right? Um, and one of the things that he would say to me all the time, because I've always had ideas, he was always like, and I'm gonna just say it surface level, but he used to say, like, stop procrastinating and get it done. Like, we keep talking about what we're gonna do, but let's get it done, right? Execute. And so losing him, that stuck with me. And so while people see me showing up, podcasts, getting on stages, whatever the case may be, joining, starting my communities. This is the first time I've ever branded myself. I've never branded myself. I have businesses that I've operated, my event space, graphic design. I've always been behind the camera, always. Um, Even years back, I didn't used to say my first name. I would say D Jones. That's my maiden last name. I would say D Jones because I didn't want people to know it was a woman-led business. It's so many things that I do differently now. I'm gonna say out of fear or rejection or worried about what everybody else was thinking. But when you lose your person, the person that pours into you, that has given you so many foundational things, something shifts. And so 2025 was a year of healing for me, grief, all the things, getting clear on where I wanted to be. This is where I built the creative lab, came up with my methodologies the end of 2025. And going into 2026, I promised myself that whatever God laid on my heart, I was just going to do. And that's really why I say wisdom and courage. Wisdom and courage. The wisdom to learn from the different things, trials, tribulations, successes, failure, so on and so forth. And the courage to take that and do better. So that's why I say wisdom and courage.
Understand. Sorry also for your loss during that time, because I
Yeah.
can imagine. You said you were pregnant when you lost him.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Wow.
was almost 8 months pregnant. So it was 40 days after he passed, I had my son. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, my
Yeah.
condolences for that, because I
Yeah.
mean, it's only God that can take you through that. Because I lost my mom that same year in May.
Mm,
So yeah,
yeah.
2024 was a year that sucked
Yeah.
for me as well. So no, I totally understand. My condolences.
Thank
And
you.
that I'm glad, you use that, and just for showing up for what you're doing it can only be honestly just God that kind of, just boost you through that. So I'm glad
Absolutely.
that you healed, from that. And, and it's a process, just how you go through that. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, um, what final encouragement would you give the woman who has ideas, tools, and access, but now needs the, courage to direct her vision with confidence?
Confidence, I'm gonna say confidence comes with doing. That's period. I don't even know how else to say it. Confidence comes with doing. And so if we're always in our head or we're always worried about something not working or we're always worried about what the next person is going to think or oh my family or the people around me aren't supporting, confidence comes with doing. Confidence um gives you connections, right? Opens doors to new people. Um just showing up, there's something that happens. Even if it fails, I'll take a failure over not doing any day because in the failing process, I learn what not to do. So next time I decide to execute, I know what to stay away from to get to that success part. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, no, yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, definitely. No, yes, and I don't even call it failures. I call it lessons. I don't even call it L's.
absolutely.
My L's are lessons.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's so true. You learn a lot from, the mistakes that you make. So how can people connect with you? Do you have any programs or anything? How can people connect with you to or work with you?
Yeah. Yeah. So I have a few things. I think the easiest way is go to links.creativelabhq.com. that gives you all the ways to connect with me. So my book, I Am the Prompt, is on Amazon. You can follow me on social media at the Creative Lab HQ. I have my school community. And then more recently, what's coming up in the next, few days is I have a collaborative event, Multiply with Manus AI, that's happening August 27th and 28th. It is a 2-day free live event where we are going back to the basics of your chief of staff and building that right in AI. And so we're going to foundational things as well as branding and foundational things. So I'm going to help you build your brand Bible and visual consistency for that agent so that everything you do, and whether it's talking visually, shows up, looks, and sounds like you.
Nice, nice. And you said it's free?
The 2-day event is free,
It's
August
free.
27th and
Man,
28th.
man, folks, you gotta take advantage of it. Take
Yes,
advantage of it. The one, because I paid in terms of this deal, and she's giving this stuff for free. You see the difference in terms of just for my brand of just the changes. Take advantage. And also with Aljanae, she is also like in terms of she's a I think for Manus, she's a isn't she
Manus
certified?
Fellow.
Yeah, a fellow for that.
Yes,
So you're with
yes,
some people, someone who knows like in terms of Manus in and out.
absolutely.
You everything that's needed. And don't you have a summit coming up as well?
I do. I do. I have a summit coming up. Thanks for asking. So, my director summit is the director summit. It's happening October 13th through the 15th. It's a free 3-day summit. We got some amazing speakers. They're still kind of coming in and getting acclimated, but amazing speakers that will be coming those 3 days. And it's all about stop prompting, start directing. So if you want to see some amazing people that are doing some amazing things, not just creatively, foundational, creative systems, automations, the 3-day summit is where you need to be as director summit.
Nice, nice. So everybody sign up. It's gonna These details is gonna be in the description notes for this episode of how you can sign up, how you can connect with Denesha. Y'all, I'm telling you, you better connect with this lady. She is, I mean, God, I always say God has gifted her with a gift of creativity, and it's just effortless. She just does it, and it's just natural. She doesn't struggle. It just comes out on
Thank
there.
you.
So, but thank you so much, Denesha, for being on the show and just telling your story of just what you're doing and just you're doing amazing things, honestly, in the community. Really appreciate you being on the show today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So, folks, if you enjoyed content like this that I just, discussing with Denesha of just her story and just how the amazing work that she does, I see a lot of views, but I'm not seeing a lot of people subscribing. So if you could please do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. And also there's a hype button I think that people are doing so that way it can boost stuff into the algorithm so people can watch this. So folks, thank you so much for watching this episode. And this is another episode of Becoming the Proverbs Third Woman podcast. My name is Choma Kende, also known as Special Agent Chi. And until next time, stay blessed, everyone. Bye, everyone.
31 woman, I'm a Proverbs 31 woman.